So what'd you give me? Caramels? Make sure nobody interrupts us.
You're going to be in it.
Yeah. I'm gonna interview you for my kids. Basically, and it's pretty simple. I'm just gonna ask you background information, some questions about faith, prayer, and advice. So we'll see if you answer the questions correctly. It'll be just a good conversation. So, Father Xavier, what's your past? I know you're a priest here at New Melleray, but how'd you end up here?
I was in college, Creighton University in Omaha, Nebraska, and I got this wild idea that I wanted to be a monk.
On purpose?
So I went and talked to a priest, and he says, "Put that out of your mind. You can't do that. That's too difficult." So I was leaving his office, and he said, "If the thought comes back, come and see me." So then we had a compulsory retreat between semesters, and I got this idea again that I wanted to be a monk. And, so I called my parents and asked me to bring them up here. My parents lived about 300 miles from here, west of here.
Where at?
Western Iowa.
Oh, okay.
Close to the Nebraska border, the Missouri River. So then I was applied, and they told me to come. So I went to see this same priest to tell him goodbye. When I was leaving his office, he says, "Don't come home. Nobody likes a quitter." So I'll show him. I stayed 60 years.
That's a long time. So what year did you join?
I joined in 1950. I had just turned 20, and I joined 20 in February, and then I came here in March in 1950.
Wow.
March 21st.
Did you think you were crazy?
I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I thought I wanted to be a monk, but I didn't really know what that meant.
How'd you learn about monasticism?
I think people talking about it at school.
Really?
You know, I hadn't read Thomas Merton, but I heard other students talk about it. My dad's youngest brother was a Jesuit.
Okay.
And I thought I wanted to be a missionary when I was young. Then I got this idea about being a monk. That's how I think God was protecting me, you know. If I'd been in active ministry, I don't think that would have. I think this fits better.
Interesting.
Even though I'm an extrovert. It fits me.
Well, then what year did you become a priest then?
In 1958, I received the habit in May of 1950, and I made temporary vows in 1952 in May, and then solemn vows in 1955 in May. And then 3 years later, I was ordained on May 1st, 1950, with Father Thaddeus.
Really?
Yeah.
The one in the walker?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's a great man.
Yeah, I was happy to see that he's still alive. Yeah. So then what do you do now?
Now, I pray, and I try to be nice to the brothers.
Is that hard?
No, they're pretty nice. So it's not too hard. Because if I'm not nice to them, my spiritual director gets on me. Because I tell him everything. So. And then I'm kind of a part-time chaplain for the Trappistine Sisters.
Okay. And they're just down the street?
Well, they're about 18 miles east of us, right on the Mississippi River.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes when I'm there, I work in their candy factory. That's how they make their living.
Those caramels you gave me?
Yeah. And then I bake bread, and I give retreats to recovering alcoholics and drug addicts.
Drug addicts. How have you, so have your experiences changed from like when you originally were here in the early 50s to how it is now? Is it very different?
Well, at that time, the rule of silence was different. In fact, among ourselves, we didn't talk. We had a kind of a simple sign language.
Mm-hmm.
But if the superior was there, or if someone was in charge of a department and work, and they could talk, but the other monks couldn't talk back to them.
Really?
So when we were building this wing, I could talk to the brothers, but they couldn't talk to
Couldn't
me.
talk back to you?
Yeah.
Wow. Do you still remember sign language?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Do you remember? I remember you kind of teaching me a little, like, I think bread.
This is bread,
Bread.
butter,
Butter.
sweet,
Sweet.
day,
Day.
week, month, year, old, young.
Did you guys ever invent signs to words?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Because like when we were mixing cement, we mixed water in the bag,
Oh, okay.
sand, and then we mixed it by hand.
Wow, and you guys couldn't talk?
Mhm.
Wow.
And then when we were laying block or laying stone, we used the word, this was for the next tier.
The next tier.
We had a few of our own signs among us, yeah.
Well, did you ever get lonely in the first days?
Oh, the first 6 months, I almost died of lonesomeness.
Really?
So I grew up with 6 sisters and 2 brothers, and my mother was a pianist. She taught us to dance and sing, and we had a great life.
Yeah?
And then one of my girlfriends, I thought I wanted to marry her,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I gifted her by not marrying her.
She
She didn't have to live with me for 60 years. I think that was one of the pluses of coming here, that she married another.
You saved her 6 years of misery.
One of the things that, when we were studying theology, we studied theology for 9 years. We studied 4 years, and then we were ordained, and we had to study 5 years after.
Oh, wow, okay.
So I feel like I had the best of both worlds, because I had pre-Vatican,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Vatican Council came, and then post-Vatican. So I've seen the beauty of both the pre-Vatican and
Both things.
post-Vatican.